Hello and welcome to Rohan's Sci-Fi Stories, where I talk about all things science fiction and fantasy from the point of view of a science fiction and fantasy fan and as a science fiction author. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about books that I am excited for in 2025. So these are all um, indie books which I have purchased in the last while, and I hope to get to them within the next year. I know it's hard work. Those of you who know me well know that I have a very, very hyperactive 2-year-old who keeps me very busy. He is currently watching television for a few minutes. Don't tell anybody while I do this, so I won't take long. Okay, first off, Rack by T.K. Toppin. Okay, so Rack is a standalone novel, and I'm just going to read you a little bit about the book. TK is a very cool author. TK is from Barbados. She lives in Barbados. She's Japanese descent. She's got a lot of interesting cultural things between those two things to talk about. I've read Biz Rose is the first book I read of hers. Quite an exciting science fiction. I guess you would say it is a crime. Biz Rose is a detective going looking for people. She hunts down criminals as a bounty hunter. Biz is a force of nature. She is quite snarky and a lot of fun, and I would recommend that highly. And I'm looking forward to Rack. So here we go. This is what Rack is about. There's a lot of unpronounceable things in this, so please forgive me, TK. Um, the lad are on one race, the only race beneath the great abyss. The great Fire King deemed it so when the Great Mother birthed the Fire King's children from the dry lake beds. All know of his power and scorn and praise him with each rising, so he may shine down gently and with kindness. Warrior Class Lieutenant Rack of the Imperial Guard is a proud soldier, an adoring father to his sons, brave, dutiful, and honour bound. A devout servant of the Far King, he is a true lad, but his faith is shattered when an alien craft crash lands in Hlad from the great abyss. One alien, the Dyad, survives the horrible massacre that follows the crash. Imprisoned suffering from malnutrition and studied by the reptilian doctors and scientists, he doesn't forget one of the creatures from the crash site, one who hesitated to kill. Forced to live together, Rack and the Dyad learn to understand each other despite the language barrier. But when they learn of a threat to Earth, they discover an almost unbelievable truth that unites them against the lad. The rest of Lad must learn this truth, and so too the rest of the universe. Okay, very good. That is Rack by T.K. Toppin. I'm looking forward to that. Next up, The Black Crown. This is by John A. Douglas. John has a very cool YouTube channel. You should go check him out. Okay, so The Black Crown. I haven't read anything by John previously. So let's see. Let's find out about this. I do know there's orcs involved. Okay. It is the dying days of the age of adventures, and the orc wars have ended. The crown pantheon, authoritarian rulers of Allspar, slaughtered the marauding orcs by the tens of thousands and returned peace to the continent of Evergrad. But among the many half-orc bastards left in the wake of the war, one was Prince Ragat Brightsworn, son of the notorious warlord Torgoth and Serana, queen of Nymeria, the sole human-ruled kingdom. After 17 years of isolation, Ragoth is cruelly forced out of his life of luxurious comfort and into exile on the eve of his royal crowning, before he can receive his gilded mark, the magic sigil that proves his royal birth. Unable to prove who he is or return home, he embarks on a quest to reach his father's tribe, the Sunderfang, in the lawless wilds of Dreadmoor. But his venture is not taken alone. He earns the company of Cortland Lowhelm, a pugilistic human farm boy hell-bent on finding a legend to fill, and Deneth, a compassionate if helpless elvish goodwill worker. To ensure safe passage, they acquire the services of Val Mora, a world-weary veteran adventurer down on her luck. Together, they cross the kingdoms of the Crown Pantheon with nefarious forces seemingly at every step. The Black Crown is a coming-of-age epic fantasy packed to the brim with action and adventure, political intrigue, found family, and vengeful dragons, dark abominations, and most of all, orcs. Okay, that sounds very cool. Looking forward to that one by John. Let's see what else I have here on my Kindle. And we go back. It's funny how these things never work when you are trying to do them. Okay, we have here Wistful Ascending. Oh, Wistful Ascending. That is by J.C. Byrne. J.C.M. Byrne. Sorry, I forgot the M there. Sorry, Joe. Okay, so let's learn a little bit about this. Haven't read from Joe before, so let's see what this one is about. A superhero space opera for grown-ups, for fans of Invincible and Marvel Cinematic Universal films. If Thor and Harry Dresden combined in a transporter accident. The Ildrak have conquered half a galaxy behind the civilization-ending powers of their mixed-species children. Half-human, Rohan, like myself, exhausted by a decade fighting for their empire, has paid a secret and terrible price for his freedom. Now retired, he strives to live a quiet life, towing starships for the space station wistful. His most pressing problems are finding the perfect cup of coffee and talking to a gorgeous shuttle tech without tripping over his own tongue. Yeah, sounds familiar. A nearby long dormant wormhole is opened by a ship full of scared, angry refugees, and the many eyes of the Empire focus uncomfortably on Wistful. As scientists, spies, and assassins converge, reverting to the monster the Empire created is the surest way to protect his friends, and the surest way to lose them. That sounds pretty cool. I'm not usually a big superhero reader. Haven't read a lot in that kind of area, but I have to say that looks very cool. Okay, next one up is Afterburn by D. Andrews. So this is another Irish author I haven't read before. I think this is her first book. And I would imagine uh, that I think she has another book on the way very soon. So I'm just going to read and find out what this is about. Okay, this is Afterburn. Kara is an outcast, a freak, a non-telepath. The only person to ever show her any kindness, Catid, is dead. Ever since the state informed her of Catid's death, Kara's life has been bleak, consisting of a tedious job, a small book collection, and the painful memories of a love that never was. But Kara also harbours a dark secret. Within her is a terrible power, and that's manifested in times of great danger, with devastating consequences. When Catid miraculously reappears, Kara's joy is short-lived. From across the galaxy, Catid has been listening to Kara's thoughts. He knows her secret, and he wants to use her power to overthrow the state. Kara finds herself trapped in this twisted game of psychological manipulation. As Catid's ruthless nature is revealed, Kara realizes the man she once knew may no longer exist. With Catid's grip tightening, Kara begins to wonder whether she can trust her own mind, or whether everything she thought she knew was part of his plan all along. Okay, very cool. That is Afterburn by D. Andrews. Looking forward to that. And as Dee also lives in Ireland, maybe bump into her in the near future. That will be cool, and we can talk a bit about books. Okay, I'm gonna do one more today. I actually have too many to do, so I'm gonna do a couple of these. So one more for today. Okay, so this is one I picked up very recently. It's not been on my Kindle long. So that is Drowned Kingdom by P.L. Stewart. So he has a very cool YouTube channel as well. I will link it somewhere down there, so go check him out. He interviews very cool authors on there. Really nice guy, so definitely check that out. Okay, let's have a little look at what the Drowned Kingdom is about. About this book, let's go. Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna have to do my fantasy voice here. Hang on one second. Once second prince of the mightiest kingdom in the known world, Othran now leads the last survivors of his exiled people into an uncertain future far across the shimmering sea from their ancestral home, now lost beneath the waves. With a single god binding his knights to chivalric oaths intent on wiping out idolatry and pagan worship, they will have to carve out a new kingdom on this mysterious continent, a continent that has for centuries been ravaged by warlords, competing for supremacy and mages channeling the mystic powers of the elements, and unite the continent under godly rule. With the troubled past, a cursed sword, and a mysterious spirit guiding him, Othron means to be that ruler and conquer all. But with kingdoms fated on the edge of spears, alliances and pagan magic, betrayal, doubt, and dangers await him at every turn. Othron will be forced to confront the truths of all the beliefs in an honest journey to become a king and a legend. When one kingdom drowns, a new one must rise in its place. So begins the saga of that kingdom and the man who would rule it all. Okay, that sounds very cool. And that is Drowned Kingdom by P.L. Stewart. Very excited for that one. I'm going to leave it at that today. I will. I actually I've far too many books on my Kindle, so maybe I'll do a few of these to get through them and talk a little bit about all the very exciting indie books I have. I'm looking forward to reading in the future. I will get around to them at some stage. I may have to retire first, but I'll get there. Don't forget to subscribe, like, do all those things, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you very much for listening. Take care.